What's up, y'all? Y'all are listening to Living Corporate's flagship podcast. If you didn't know, Living Corporate helps organizations build employee engagement and market trust through data analytics and data transformation, our e-learning platform, and brand marketing storytelling. We're so excited for you to be here today. The conversation you're about to hear is going to connect the dots between employee experience and go-to-market effectiveness. If you're not ready, get ready. Here we go. What's up, y'all? It's Zach with Living Corporate, back on this mini informal series. Just some points of inflection. I've been thinking through what in my life has empowered and formed the why behind some of the ways that I am. And one of the things that I often come to think about is the season when I was told that I was too strategic. I was told I was too strategic. And it helped me a lot in my career after I paused on the feedback. So, context, let me set it up. I am 24 years old, and I am working at a consulting firm. And I was there for some time. I asked for sponsorship and support in my career. I was told that I would not get that sponsorship and support. I decided to move to another consulting firm. This particular consulting firm was pretty cool because they were really just building out their change management practice at the time. And so I came in and was really aggressive about helping them build out their change management practice at the time. So really focused on strategy, focused on transformation, focused on how we do what we do, how we sell, how we position, how we expand footprint for some of the clients we already had. I was doing a lot of that work. Time goes on, and this consulting firm finally formally hires a senior partner who is going to lead up the practice. And we got along fine, right? I think that she was a white woman. I think she looked at me kind of like a novelty, kind of like a talking bear. I think sometimes black folks, they exist in these spaces where obviously we're hyper seen and yet invisible. And when we're seen either as a threat, and I do believe at best as a novelty. It kind of reminds me of the dolphins or the killer whales at SeaWorld, right? When you go to SeaWorld and you see Shamu or these other huge animals, you might say, "Ooh, they're scary, but they're beautiful," and I know they don't mean any harm. You may even want them to be treated well. You might want them to eat the best fish possible, but they're animals to you, right? They're animals, and I think that's how a lot of folks, black folks, are often viewed in corporate America. We're seen as at best, oftentimes, not every time, but oftentimes, we're seen as something to kind of look at and stare at and marvel at, but we would never ever consider them equal with us, because after all, they're killer whales. So we had all that being said, we had a good relationship, and to her credit, she really advocated and helped me get promoted to manager, which was a big deal for me at the time. It helped me with my career as I progressed in my career. And shout out to Fenores Pearson, who talked to me about the power of titles. And titles, they really do matter. They matter as you look for the next job. The title you have at your current job helps shape up the title that you get at your next job. So thank you, Fino, for that guidance, that mentorship. So anyway, she comes in, and her leadership is very, very, very technical. She is not looking for us to do organizational transformation or any type of real change work. She's looking for us to be tech salespeople. She wants us to attach the change management work we do to a SaaS solution. And she reached out to me and asked me what I thought about that methodology, the idea or the strategy to tie our change management practice to SaaS, to a SaaS product, actually. And I told her that that was a silly idea. I didn't say it that way, but I ultimately said it's a silly idea. And the reason why I said tying a change management methodology to a SaaS product is silly is because the minute that there's a new SaaS product that outperforms that product, your methodology and your business model has to be upended. And the fact that SaaS tools come and go every day, we're essentially making ourselves a tech company despite the fact that we're people and we're selling people solutions. So I found it odd, I found it confusing, and I found it limiting. Time went on, and part of her charm was just her radical candor, right? Like, it wasn't, I don't think that she was ever really meaning to be malicious. I think she could be boneheaded in some of the things she said, but I don't think she was being nasty in any way. But we were talking about the practice one day, and at this point I was fairly well respected in her eyes. Again, like, I was like the number one killer whale in the practice, right? I was Mr. Shamu. And time goes on, and we're talking about the practice, and she's asking me how I'm feeling and what's going on. And I said, I'm really looking for some more like transformation work, right? Like, I'm not always interested in doing an ERP or doing like a training workshop. Like, I'd love to understand, like, are there any workforce transformation engagements happening? Or like, are there any merger and acquisitions that are happening where like you need change management support to bring these two cultures together and, help them work? This was before, y'all. This was like years and years ago when like employers acted like they cared about people. Like, before layoffs were just the super norm, right? Like, the economy was mad different in this era that I'm talking about. But anyway, she was like, I talked to her about that. I was like, it's cool, but like, I'm really looking for that type of work. And she went on to say, look, like, we're not selling that work. Like, we're not interested in that work. I'm not trying to win that work. We really want to focus on the SaaS product that I want us to get out in the market, because we have this partnership with this SaaS company that is going to be really lucrative, because we're going to close deals and we're going to use this technology as a part of the work that we do. Like, this is the future of this practice. And I said, oh, okay, like, all right. And she said, it's something you need to think about, Zach. I'm gonna just tell you right now, you're too strategic. Like, you're too strategic. Like, you're always thinking about the how and the why and the what. You just need to get in. Sometimes you just have to just do the work. Sometimes it's just about working. It's not about being really in your head all the time. You need to stop being so strategic. And like, if that's the kind of work you want to do, there might not be a place for you in this practice. And I said, oh. I kind of looked at it, like, my eyebrows raised. I don't know if y'all know that, like, that Samuel L. Jackson meme where he's like, kind of backs up a little bit, or the Gary Payton meme where he looks like, oh, it's like that. Okay. And so I had an opportunity, like, when I first received it, I took it very personal, right? I was very frustrated because that moment, it typified a broader reality for me, which up to this point in corporate America, I was always told that I was too much of something and not enough of something else, right? I was always told there would be times when I was told I was too well dressed. There was times I was told I wasn't dressed well enough. There were times I was told I was too well spoken. There were times I was told, I don't think you know the words that you're saying. There was times I was told that I was too polite. There were times I was told I was not polite enough. There were times I was told I was too smart alecky. There were times I was told there were times where I was asked if I had a GED, right? So there was all these wide vacillations of being too much and not enough all the time. And that really is the marginalized experience at work. That is not, like, I know now, after talking to several people, right? 'Cause this was way before Living Corporate even started. That is the experience of those on the margins every day. Constantly having to put one mask down to pick up another, constantly having to adjust your sliders and code switch just right to fit and work. But for me, like after I kind of like digested that moment, which I did not like and I did not appreciate, I felt like, damn, like you've seen me work. I got promoted under you. You advocated for me to get promoted. Why would you say that to me? I'm like, after I got through all these like personal emotions, I had to come to peace with, well, who am I really? Right? Because if I had to choose between menial, repetitive tasks or building and innovating something, I'm going to choose the latter. And yes, that is strategic work. And maybe I am too strategic for you. Right? I had to take the time to reflect and understand that her saying that was not some racist attack on my person. Her saying that was her giving me the gift of radical, candid feedback about how she felt about me and my brand and my style and my focus. And that is dope. That gave me space to reflect and then find something that made sense. So what I did was, when she said, hey, you're too strategic, I didn't even fight her on it. She said that, I didn't even say anything back, y'all. Like, we're walking down the street somewhere. I said, okay. When she said there's not a space for me if I don't change my approach for this and the third, I said, okay. And so then about a week and a half later, I found another consulting firm that was really focused on strategy work in the change management space. And I made the jump. And I let her know, hey, I'm letting you know, this is my 2 weeks. This is why I found something different. And she said, well, I hope it wasn't anything I said that would lead you to make that decision. I said, absolutely. You told me I was too strategic. I agree that you're right. I am too strategic for this place. So I found a place that was going to be aligned with where my career focuses are. Right? And she chuckled. We had a really good laugh and conversation about it. She shook my hand. She gave me a hug. And we're still cool today. Like, I just hit her up on LinkedIn, right? Like, it's all good. I just want people to understand that, like, when people tell you something about who they see you to be, you're not this, you're not this, you're not that. First of all, know yourself. Do the work to know yourself. And accept the fact that if someone tells you you're too much of this or not enough of this, that they may not always be lying. They're just not, they don't have the capacity to receive you for who you are. And you're not beholden to stay there. You can find something else, or guess what? Create something else that honors who you are. And that is okay. In fact, I would say that's the best thing you can do. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for me getting that feedback and that kick in the pants, yes, I still took it as disrespect now. I ain't gonna hold you. Then who's to say where I'd be? Right? Who's to say what I'd be doing? I might still be putting it around at that little consulting firm. But I decided to find something different, and it was for the best. Listen, y'all, we're going to continue these forward, but I just wanted to kind of like break up the monotony. Like I said, we have some really great guests lined up. Heba Yusuf, Arthur Chan, some really dope guests. I'm excited about the discussion we're having. Charlene Corley, Tara May. We have some dope folks lined up. I'm excited about y'all checking them out, but I wanted just to slow down and talk a little bit more about my story, my experience, things that happened in my world to kind of shape why living corporate really exists. I know I've talked about living corporate and the fact that like we exist at this intersection of lived experience and like and workplace fairness and employee experience and customer experience, and like that's all true. But like the onset was me. Like it was me who came and said, okay, I want to build something. And like these were some of the things that happened. These were some of the precursors that led to Living Corporate being here. So listen, we'll be back to regularly scheduled programming next week with Kev and Fredericks, also known as Kev on Stage. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Living Corporate is a podcast by Living Corporate LLC. Our logo was designed by David Dawkins. Our theme music was produced by Ken Brown. Additional music production by Antoine Franklin for Musical Elevation. Post-production is handled by Jeremy Jackson. Got a topic suggestion? email us at livingcorporatepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us online on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and living-corporate.com. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned.